Week 2 of the preseason is upon us, and the Miami Dolphins will be hosting the Las Vegas Raiders for their second preseason game. Raiders' third preseason game because they played in the Hall of Fame game. Now, with that being said, a few things to talk about. First of all, let's talk about the game information. Game is a 7 p.m. kickoff this Saturday, August 20th, and it will be at Hard Rock Stadium, so Dolphins will be the host. Preseason betting is risky, very risky. But the money line is Las Vegas -1, and the over/under is 41.5. I'd probably go with the under on that one. But yeah, I mean, this preseason, if you bet, you bet. But betting's risky, especially with the preseason games. With that being said, this is an interesting matchup because I think both teams should play their starting groups for hopefully a drive, if not just a little bit, just to see what both teams are made of, because these are two hopeful playoff contending teams. Raiders made the playoffs last year, and the Dolphins are hoping to get there. They've been knocking on the door for the playoffs for the last 2 years and looking to break the door down this year. So hopefully that's the case. But with that being said, the Raiders made a big move in the offseason, adding Devontae Adams from the Green Bay Packers and former college teammates with Derek Carr, the quarterback of the Las Vegas Raiders. So they made some moves. They feel like they were short in a loaded division, which is now the AFC West. You can possibly say like at least 3 of the top 10 quarterbacks are in the AFC West currently at this time. You for sure got to have Patrick Mahomes and Russell Wilson in there, and then some people might say Derek Carr, some people might say Justin Herbert. You never know. I think they're very good quarterbacks in each team of that division, so it should be interesting who ends up winning that. But that's not the point. We're talking about this preseason game, and hopefully we get some of the first teamers out there just for a drive, if anything. Hopefully, that would be awesome to see. But if not, it seems like they're going to be sitting their ones all preseason long, both teams, because they don't want to risk the slightest of injuries. Speaking of injuries, there are some players that are listed as questionable and on injured reserve. For the Raiders, it's Josh Jacobs. He's listed as questionable. He's more than likely the number 1 running back there. Our former Dolphin, Kenyon Drake, is fighting for the 2nd spot, but possibly might end up with the 3rd spot. Who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. I'll tell you guys now looking at the depth charts. But let's go to the Dolphins injuries. So Trill Williams, cornerback, he's on the injured reserve. He tore his ACL late in the game last week against the Buccaneers, and that's very unfortunate because that was one of the guys I was rooting for to make the roster. He had a good camp last year, and he was on and off of the roster, but never really played. And then this year, he was doing pretty good in camp and was doing pretty well in the preseason game until he got injured, which is very unfortunate. That's unfortunately how preseason goes. Adam Shaheen, tight end, he's on injured reserve. They finally disclosed his injury since the trade that we had with the Texans didn't go through, which is very unfortunate. And then also Tino Ellis, cornerback, is on injured reserve. And then Jalen Waddle, wide receiver, is questionable. So more than likely he won't play. And if he does end up playing, I do not see Tyreek Hill playing or Tua, any of the guys on offense. Gesicki got some reps in last game, so more than likely he'll get some more reps in this game, especially since he's trying to really establish himself with this offense. I'm not sure if he's going to be in the George Kittle type of role, but should be interesting to see what comes of Mike Gesicki this year, especially with his franchise tag. With that being said, let's talk about some of the depth charts. So for the Raiders, going back to that situation with the running backs, Kenyon Drake is listed as a 3rd string running back. He's behind Brandon Bolden and Zamir White. And then it's Kenyon Drake and then Britton Brown. So, and Amir Abdullah and Austin Walters after him. So, yeah, he's definitely fighting for a spot there. But there's some movement on the Dolphins. Preston Williams, I'm not sure if he was listed as the 4th wide receiver or not in previous depth charts. but he is now. Especially, it's kind of weird with him being really unhappy with how his role has gone to this under this new regime. It definitely got pushed down with the addition of Tyreek Hill and Cedric Wilson. But should be interesting to see what moves on forward with Preston Williams there. Because there's been a good camp from Trent Sherfield and Eric Uzama. Both guys have had a pretty good camp. But Uzama probably looks like the odd man out. Lynn Bolden's been alright. And people I don't think is going to unfortunately make the roster is Rivercraft and Brylon Sanders. So those two guys, I don't think they will make the roster. So Eric Uzama, Mohamed Sanu, Trent Sherfield, Lynn Bolden Jr., and Preston Williams seem to be fighting for the last wide receiver spot. In terms of tight end, I think we're keeping Gesicki, Smythe, and Hunter Long. And we'll probably keep a guy on our practice squad. In terms of the offensive line, not much going on there. I think we're pretty much set with Teron Armstead at left tackle, Eichenberg either at left guard or right tackle. He kind of can play either role. Connor Williams seems to be struggling at center, but I don't see a place where we move him to one of the guard spots, probably left guard, and then we move Eichenberg to right tackle. But then what do you do with Austin Jackson, who's transitioning from left tackle to right tackle? He wasn't the best last year, but he wasn't the worst. So that's really what's going on there. So, yeah, that pretty much sums up some of the depth chart stuff. Defensively, it's going to be interesting to see who actually makes it out there on the field. I don't see Wilkins, Davis, Ogba, Phillips, Baker, Howard, or Javion Holland suiting up. And if they do, hopefully they just play a series and get out. I would love to see our defense play against this Raiders first team offense, but we'll just have to wait and see until game time. But that's all I have for you guys now, and hopefully, I come back to you guys with a win for the Dolphins. I know it's preseason and wins don't really mean much, but it's always good. It's always good to have a win. But hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.